if you need to go get one of those, you'll have plenty of time to go do it, or mom will have plenty of time to grab it and hand it over. And you just need one for the whole group of you. It's not and it's not even a necessity. It's kind of like an extra that we can do. So as we're going along here, y'all give me some, if you have questions, let me know it. Raise your hand, put it in the chat. If you're raising your hand and we're not getting to you fast enough, put it in the chat. Let us know what your questions are. There are some, I think, pretty cool things about eggs that we're going to talk about. So I want to make sure that you learn as much as you can. But I don't want to just sit here and talk at you either, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is talk about the egg, okay? So everybody pick your egg up and touch it. Feel it all around, okay? All ends of it. And think of one describing word for your egg, okay? Just one, think of it. Would you rather say that word to me, or do you want to type it in the chat? Okay, you want to say it? Okay, Elizabeth, Dylan, Peyton, y'all start. You open your mic and give me one word that describes your egg.
Texture. Weird texture. Cold.
Cold. Dylan, what about you? You want to share one?
Go on, say your word again.
Textured.
Okay. William and Hazel. Y'all want to unmute and give us a word? It's okay if it's the same word that somebody else used too.
Say it again.
Smooth.
Smooth.
Smooth. I like it. William?
No.
No. Okay. How about y'all Jaegers? What words would y'all use to describe your egg?
Hard.
Hard. Hard.
Cold.
Cold. Cold. Okay. Sawyer and Kira?
Oh, it looks like they said teardrop shaped. They
Teardrop
typed it. And
shaped.
Nathan and Matilda also typed.
Okay.
And they said cold and fragile.
Okay.
Cole typed and he said hard.
Okay. Juliet, Wyatt, Joy, Larry, anything different?
Odd shaped.
Odd.
Yeah, oddly shaped.
Okay. Okay, Johnson.
Raw.
Raw. Kelsey, Catherine, anything? No?
Rough. Cold.
Cold. What about Miss Myers? Y'all have any describing words?
It's smooth.
Smooth. Luke and Levi, y'all have any words you want to use?
Nope. Smooth. Textured.
Okay. So I've heard smooth over and over again. We've heard odd shaped. So everybody kind of hold your eggs up and let's see them. Hold them up to your camera. Looks like most of them are white, but I see that Nathan and Matilda have brown eggs there. Okay. Everybody else has, oh, look, Jaegers have brown eggs too. Okay. Oh, it looks like those look brown too, huh? Juliet, Wyatt, y'all's are a light brown? Yeah? Okay. So
The Webbers have white.
okay, Webbers have white ones. Tell me if you got yours from the chicken pen out back. Tell me. Anybody get any? There we go. Jaegers got theirs from the chicken pens.
The
Webbers. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I see. Quite a few of you got them out there. So one word I use to describe mine would be white. Okay, because it's a white one. To where y'all with brown ones, hold them back up, and everybody look at the different colors of brown. Okay? Do you see that Nathan and Matilda, hold them up to the camera good, show them to everybody. You see how dark theirs are compared to Juliet and Wyatt and Joy and Larry and Jaegers. Put y'all's up there. All of those are different colors in and of themselves, aren't they? Okay? So you can describe them. You can put them down. You can describe them by the color. Okay? Now, I'm going to fill the big end on mine. Do y'all see the difference in the big end and the little end? Rachel, my screen is up. Hold on, I got to change something off my screen. I got it. My computer wants to reboot, so I'm going to tell it we don't need to do that for another 4 hours. So, sorry about that, you guys. When I fill the big end of mine, y'all fill the big end of yours, and mine's just a plain old egg from the grocery store too. Do you feel any bumps on it? Anybody have any little bumps on them? Yeah. Okay. So some people's are really smooth and some are pretty bumpy, almost. All those are normal. Okay. The shell of the egg, okay, is hard. Do you know it's really kind of hard to break an egg? Take the egg and put it in your hand and try to squeeze it. Just with one hand, and just squeeze it as hard as you can. Okay, like I'm squeezing it. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm squeezing it as hard as I can. I don't have a big grip, but I'm trying, right? And it doesn't break. They're harder than you think they are. So there's a really cool science experiment that you can do. We actually did it the other day at one of our birthday parties. Did you know that you can walk on eggs? Did you know that? You've seen people walk on hot coals or walk on nails. You can walk on an egg and they don't break. So, and the way it's actually doing that is because you have your weight on all of the eggs when you walk. Okay, so it disperses your weight out and they can actually hold more than what you think they can. So that was a pretty cool experiment that we did.
One, probably not. On one egg.
Yeah, something might break if you fall or something. It's possible, but you can walk on eggs. It's pretty cool. But the shell, do what? They can barely see your egg. There you go. Okay, so the shell, y'all, actually has a whole lot of calcium in it. Okay, y'all heard of calcium? Where do we get calcium from? Who knows? Who knows where we get calcium from? Where's it at, Cody? Where do we get calcium from, Cody?
Milk.
Milk, right? Okay, and what does it do for us? Who knows what does it do for our body? What does that calcium do? Sawyer, what does it do?
It makes your bones strong.
It makes your bones strong. Good. What else does it help make strong? Elizabeth Payton.
Your red blood cells.
Yeah, it does that too.
Nathan had his hand raised.
Nathan, what else does it do?
I was gonna say bones.
Bones. Okay. All right, Jaegers, what you got for me? Teeth. Very good. I was hearing teeth back here behind me too. So yeah, teeth. Okay. It makes our teeth strong. It's the same type stuff that's in the shell of this egg. Okay. So if you can help remember, you know, it's kind of a white, and we think of bones and our teeth being white. If you can help remember that, then you'll remember that there's a whole lot of calcium in this shell. Okay. It does have other things in it, but calcium is the vast majority of it. So another thing, y'all, that's really cool about the shell of this is that, did you know there's little bitty holes in the shell? You know how our skin has pores, right? We all know our skin has pores, and that's kind of where our sweat comes out of. There are pores on this egg too. Just like stuff can go in through our pores and then come out our pores, it can do the same thing inside this egg. Okay, it's not completely, there's not a barrier that's keeping anything out, right? So one of the whole purpose of this egg is for that chicken lays that egg because it's going to grow into another chicken, right? It's going to grow, it's going to make a baby, it's going to hatch out. That's the whole purpose of why the chicken is doing it. Now we're going to eat it, that's because we think it's good, okay? But when that chicken lays its egg, that's what it's trying to do is, you know, reproduce, make another baby. So the last thing that she does when she lays the egg is she puts a coating all the way around this. Has anybody in here ever seen a chicken lay an egg? Yeah, we've got a few that have seen it. Okay, y'all, what's it look like when that egg goes into the nest? How would you describe it? So Elizabeth, how would you describe it? Describe it for me. What's the egg look like?
She's trying to unmute.
Okay.
I tried. I
won't let
asked
you.
her to.
Go ahead.
Can you unmute yourself, Elizabeth? There you go.
There it is.
It looks disgusting.
It's disgusting. That's the word I was going for. Okay, Jaegers, what word would you use to describe it? Y'all all three had your hand up.
I know.
Wet.
Wet, wet, very good. Anybody else? That disgusting and wet, those are the ones I'm looking for. Carrie, what do you say? You got it.
When a egg is laid, the mother sits on it.
Oh, she sure does. She sure does. Y'all, the last thing she does is she puts that wet coating all the way around that egg. And it's really kind of slimy, would be a word I would use. Anybody seen one and you might use that same description? Okay, so it's slimy. Y'all, she's doing that on purpose. She's putting a layer all the way around that, and that is going to help control and keep bacteria from getting inside that egg. Okay? So it's now slimy and wet and disgusting, and it goes into that nest, and the nest is also, you know, kind of dirty. It's got dirt in it, it's got hay in it, it's got straw in it, it's got chicken poop in it, it's got whatever else might be in it, right? And now we put that wet, slimy egg down into that, and she's put that coating to keep it safe, right? Well, now I'm going to go get the eggs. You know, I'm going to go get them because I'm going to eat them before she can sit on them, because that's what I want to do with them today. And now I've got poop on my egg. I've got straw, dirt. Anybody ever got a dirty egg out of the nest? Yeah, but I don't want to eat it like that, do I? No, I don't. So if a farmer is the one raising these things and then he's going to go sell these eggs at the grocery store, we're going to clean them first, right? That makes sense to everybody, huh? Well, when we clean them, we're taking off that coating. We're washing it off with water, right? Now we have these big, pretty eggs that have pores in them. And guess what? We've taken that layer off of there. So anybody know what can happen now? Put me back on the other view. I just can't see you.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. It picked me up on my camera over here. So, Kelsey, what can you tell me?
It'll get bacteria in it.
Now the bacteria can get inside the egg. Okay, so does that make sense to everybody? We understand now that we actually cleaned it to make it look better the way we want to eat it, but now bacteria can get into it, right? Does everybody give me a thumbs up or a head shake or something to let me know that you understand kind of what I'm saying? So now these eggs have all been cleaned and they're all real pretty, and they have to be refrigerated to help control bacteria, because there could be, not that there is, there could be bacteria inside there. So now we refrigerate it to keep the bacteria controlled. And then before we eat it, we're going to cook it. Okay? We don't want to mess with raw eggs. Does everybody understand that? If y'all did the cookie decorating camp the other day, you might have heard Miss Meredith say that we don't eat cookie dough because of the raw eggs that are in it. That's why, because there could be bacteria in it. Salmonella is the one that's most common with eggs. So we have to cook it to make sure that we kill any of that bacteria that might have been in there. So does that make sense to everybody? Do you understand why we say don't eat raw cookie dough or raw cake batter? It's not because we don't think it tastes just as yummy as you do. We do. We think it tastes pretty good. But we're not supposed to because of that. Does that make sense? Yes? Y'all, I don't want you eating raw eggs. So now everybody sees their shell. We all have an idea of kind of what it looks like. So let's start looking the inside of our egg. So now, I'll do that after this. So now we're going to take our egg and we're going to crack it open and put it inside our bowl, whatever kind of bowl you've got. Okay? So you can crack it however you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crack it one time on the side of my table and just get a crack in it, kind of like that.
And you're
Okay?
gonna try to not break it.
Yeah, you're gonna, don't do it so hard that it goes all the way through, because we want the insides to stay whole. So if you'll look, now I'm gonna put my fingers, I'm gonna let it, there we go. I'm gonna put my fingers inside the crack, but I'm gonna put the crack on the bottom and I'm gonna pull it apart and drop it into my bowl. And then I'm going to put my shell on my paper towel right beside it. So y'all see now why you needed some napkins? Because now I got the inside of stuff all in my hands. Okay, so just wipe it off with some napkins and you're good. Okay, so everybody give that a try. Take your time.
There you go, Nathan. Just set it down. Make sure you don't shake it up too much.
Yeah, and don't use your, don't pick your toothpick up right now. You don't need that toothpick at all. Do another one. You don't want to leave this one, but do another one because you want to beat the yolk. Okay. Okay. So y'all, if you want to try and keep the yolk intact, if you can. If you didn't, that's okay. If you have another egg that you want to try, if you did bust that there, just go ahead and get another egg and try it. It's okay.
Don't use your toothpicks yet.
No,
Keep
leave your toothpicks alone. Don't start poking. Did that one. Okay, so y'all give me a thumbs up when you've got that part completed.
Look at Levi. Looks like you got all thumbs up, Miss Christine.
All right, so let's get ready for the next part of this. Okay, so can everybody see? Here, I'm going to clear that and we're going to redo it. Clear all drawings. Okay, can everybody see my whiteboard okay? We just talked about the outermost part being the shell. Okay, right inside the shell. Okay, right inside it. Oh, it's really sensitive. Right inside it, attached to the shell, there is something called a membrane. Can't trace my own stuff very good. It's attached to the shell. Okay.
Elizabeth, do you have a question?
Okay. It's called a membrane. If we wanted to get all technical, we could call it the outer membrane. Okay, it's the outer membrane in the egg. Okay, y'all, this membrane separates the shell from the stuff on the inside. Okay, so look at your shell. When you see your shell, now you can get your toothpick with your shell and be touching all around in there and see if you can find the membrane, if you can see the membrane.
I already know where it is.
You see it?
I cracked it open. I cracked open the shell enough to see it. And
Okay, so what I'm going to do,
You see it, Wyatt? Yeah, Wyatt has it on his finger.
there we go. So what I'm going to do is pull off some of this. so
Oh,
you can see
Elizabeth
it.
sees it.
Can y'all see my little screen there? The one that says Walker County? Can y'all see me? I'm not sure. I can see me on the screen. I'm not sure. It's going to be smaller for now, but this is the membrane. Okay, and all a membrane does is separates one thing from another, holds it in place. Okay, so on this one, the membrane is going to hold it, it's going to keep it separate from the shell so that it doesn't stick to the shell. Okay, we wouldn't want that growing baby chick to stick to the shell, which is the whole purpose of the egg for the chicken. So there's a membrane. Now, since we drew this membrane, there's another really cool part that we can see, and it's called the air cell. So look in the big end of your egg, and you'll look for an air pocket. It kind of jumps up and down like a trampoline on this one that I've got. Can y'all see it? Everybody look for the air cell.
Levi has a really good one.
Yeah. So air cell. Okay. The membrane just doesn't go all the way to the end there, and it leaves a spot for some air. There is air that's going to come and go out of this. Oxygen's going to come into it, and carbon dioxide's got to go out because that growing baby is giving off some of those things. Okay? So that air cell is what's kind of holding some of that in there for them. Okay? Yes, ma'am. You got it. Oh, she's holding her membrane up. I thought you had a question. I see it. Ugh, stringy stuff. So, does everybody see the membrane and an air cell in your egg? Y'all give me a thumbs up if you see all that.
I think everyone's good, Miss Christine.
Okay? So, we've got all of those. Now, let's turn our view over to our actual egg.
Can you stop sharing right now?
Yep, hold on. Okay, so now we're looking at our actual egg, and we're going to look at some different parts. Okay, so who sees something they want to share? Anybody know any of these parts?
Elizabeth has her hand up.
All right, Elizabeth, which part do you see?
Oh, hang on just a second.
The yolk. That's right. Okay, the yellow part, don't poke it yet, please. But the yellow part there in the circle is the yolk. Okay.
Brock has his hand raised.
All right, Brock, what have you got?
He's going to unmute.
Can you unmute? There it goes. The white. Very good. The egg white. So this on mine, it's really not all that white. It's kind of a off-white but clear kind of stuff. When we cook it, it turns bright white. Okay, so we've got the yolk and the white. So I'm going to go back to my egg, and let's go ahead and draw them on there. Okay, so I'm going to draw. Let me get my eraser and erase this. I don't need that. Okay, let's make our yolk yellow. That would be fun. Oh, it didn't go to yellow. Okay, I know it didn't. Why is it not going to yellow? Oh, because I'm on eraser. It won't go to yellow because
You're still on eraser.
Now it's yellow. Okay, so our yolk.
Oh, no.
Promise I was on draw a while ago. Our yolk is a circle right in the middle there. Okay, what is it that's keeping the yolk in a circle? Does anybody know? Why does it stay in a circle when we do that? Is anybody?
The Webbers had their hand up. Do you know? No? Okay, that's okay.
That's okay. So all the way around this thing, there's another membrane. Okay, there's another membrane all the way around it. And here, I'm going to make it. If you didn't pop the membrane, it is definitely still there.
That's what's holding your yolk in a circle right now.
So you know what we can call this one? The inner membrane. Okay, that membrane is what's holding it in a circle. Don't pop it just yet. You can before it's all said and done. And then this is our yolk. Okay, and then we also said that we have our egg white. Okay, so all of this space inside here, I'm going to draw it and then erase it, but all of this space is egg white. Okay, so I'm just going to draw it out here. Go ahead, Miss Rachel. Oh,
Miss Christie, so Juliet, Wyatt, Joy, and Larry are kind of jumping ahead of us because they noticed a cloudy white substance next to the yolk.
all right.
So guys, I know you don't know what that is, but give us just a second and Miss Christie's going to go over it, okay?
I've got to redraw my stuff here.
No, that's okay. Yo, they said oopsie. No,
You're
that's
fine.
great. We're glad you noticed it. We're going to go over that next.
Okay, now I'm going to do my egg white. Okay. Okay, now there's another fancy word that we can learn that the egg white is, and it's the albumin. Okay, it's just another word for egg white. I don't care if you learn albumin or not. I want you to know it's the egg white. Okay, but the albumin is probably the official word for it. So far we've all seen the shell, we've all seen the outer membrane, we've all seen the white, we've all seen the yolk, which is surrounded by the inner membrane, and we've all seen the air cell, right? So now let's talk about there's other little white gooey things that are on there. Let me get a different color, okay? What that white thing is it attaches to the membrane of the yolk, okay? And it actually goes all the way around. Okay, but on two ends of it, it has these things that look kind of like ropes. That's how I kind of describe them, is it looks kind of like a rope. If you're looking at my drawing, maybe you can kind of get a description of it, you know, an idea. But it attaches to the yolk, the membrane on the yolk, and it attaches to the membrane on the outer membrane that's attached to the shell, okay? And it is kind of like a rope, okay? It's called the chalaza.
It's my favorite part.
Oh, I'm going to erase that because my handwriting was bad. Chalaza.
Oh, someone's accidentally drawing on our thing.
It's okay. I'll erase you. Okay. Okay. So that stuff is called the chalaza. And y'all, it is kind of like a rope. That is, its job is to keep the yolk kind of in the middle of the egg. So if I turn my egg one direction, gravity is gonna send it towards the bottom. But this rope is going to pull it up. If you turn it the other direction, it's going to go just opposite that. Okay? So I can show you here, but I was going to try to show it on the. Okay.
Oh,
So, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying now. Yep.
So now look around in there. I'm going to take my toothpick and look around for those. They're cloudy white. Rope-looking substance.
Juliet, Wyatt, Joy, and Larry, this is that white cloudy substance you were talking about. And you may see it on one side, but it's actually on both sides of the egg. You have to be careful, guys, because if you accidentally poke that membrane, your yolk will kind of separate and go all in your bowl.
Yeah, and we
So
don't
be
want that
careful.
quite yet. Okay, so if you can see where my toothpick is pointing on this screen, there's one end of the chalaza. And I can kind of poke at it a little bit and pull it out, and you can kind of see that it's longer than you think it is.
There you go, Carrie.
And
She
then
kind of pulled hers out, but that works.
on my other end, if I'm going to try to go up underneath it and move it, I'm going to try at least. There, you can kind of see where it's attached. There are two sides of it. It just depends on how it falls. It may be on the bottom side of your egg. So, has everybody seen the chalaza?
Miss Starla said the chalaza also helps keep the yolk from squashing the air cell, which is
There you
necessary
go.
for the baby chip.
That's right. It keeps it in the middle there. Okay, kind of holds everything in place. It is kind of like a rope. Now, we have one more part that I want you to see. I'm going to go share my screen again so that we can get that one little spot talked about. Okay, and it's actually a little bitty spot on the yolk, and it's going to be white on your yolk. Okay, but y'all, when I say little bitty speck, I mean little bitty speck. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on yours or if you're going to have to try to move it. Can you see theirs? Either of theirs.
Levi's is perfect.
Okay, I want to see. I'm going to move it and use it real fast.
Perfectly right in
Yep, Levi's came out lay in the direction we needed it. So I'm going to swap this on.
And I'm gonna, for just a second, stop there. That way they can see it. Okay.
Okay, so I moved over and I'm trying to let it,
Guys, if you can, look at this screen. It's the one that says Walker County. I think I have it spotlighted for you, so it should be pretty big. Okay? You see where Miss Christie's toothpick is? You see that little bitty white dot?
okay, and it's not connected to the chalaza. So that's what you're looking for. Right over here, here's another little white spot, but that one you can tell it has chalaza connected to it. So this little bitty white spot right there is the spot that we're looking for.
Can y'all give us a thumbs up if you see yours? All right.
Okay, I'm gonna
Joy and Wyatt and Larry. Yeager's found theirs. Elizabeth, Dylan, and Peyton found theirs. Matilda and Nathan found theirs. Johnson's, have y'all found yours? Thumbs up, good deal. What about you, Miss Carrie?
I'm gonna wipe my hand off. I got all kinds of glue on me that time, so I don't want to spread it to my pen I'm touching. Not scared of it at all. I just don't want to spread it. Okay, that little bitty speck is called the germinal disc. And y'all, that little bitty speck is where the baby actually starts forming from. That's where the DNA is from the hen. Okay? And every egg is going to have that. All these eggs that we got from the grocery store, y'all, there is no way that those eggs could ever grow into a baby chick.
Hey guys, if you have a tablet, if that's what you're watching on, try not to touch our screen because you're starting to draw on our picture, okay?
Yeah, tablets do that. I don't know how to take that away without messing with stuff. Okay. So germinal disc is where that's at. Somebody was making pretty colors. Germinal disc is where the baby will start forming from. The eggs that we get from the grocery store, if you got a plain old white egg from the grocery store, y'all, there's no way that those could ever grow into a baby chick. Okay? I want you to know that. I hear that a lot of times when we go do classes like this at schools and they crack open their egg, they say, oh, this could have been a baby chick and now I can't because I opened it up. No, it wasn't. Those eggs were raised for us to eat. Okay? That's what it was for. Now, if you got one from, from your neighbor or your grandma or your backyard where you have a rooster and a hen, then it might have been a fertilized egg. Okay? But still, if you're doing that, you're gathering those things every day or two. They are not sitting long enough to start forming. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Okay? The ones from the grocery store that we get like this are not ones that could ever form into an egg. Okay? Now, the other thing that I want you to learn from this is, these things are good for us. Eggs are good for us to eat. Okay? And they are full of nutrition. Full of all different kinds of things. I'm trying to decide what color I want. There's too many colors to choose from. Bless you. I'm going to go to light green. Okay. Y'all, inside the white, okay? Inside the white is where the most protein is in the egg. Okay? So inside the white is where your protein is. Is it too small? No. Oh. And inside the yolk is where your vitamins and minerals are. Okay, so everybody's heard of vitamins and minerals? Your body needs vitamins and minerals to grow, to do all of its functions. It also needs protein to do all of its functions. Okay, so if I just eat egg whites, okay, they're not as nutritious for me because I'm not getting any of the vitamins and minerals into my diet. And it's the same way if I just eat the egg yolk, I'm not getting the protein. So I need to be eating both parts. I need to be eating scrambled eggs and boiled eggs. That's what I need to be eating, right? Fried eggs too. I love fried eggs. They're my favorite. Okay? Sunny side up is the way Miss Meredith likes them. Okay? So that I want you to remember where those things come from. Okay? And vitamins and minerals, y'all, this thing is full of almost any kind of vitamin and mineral that your body needs. So there's vitamin A, there's vitamin E, vitamin D,
Manganese.
manganese is a mineral that we need. Miss Meredith told me I'm pressing her brain if you can't hear her over there. There is all of these different vitamins and minerals are good for all different parts of our body. Okay? But the white has the protein and the yolk has the vitamins and minerals. Okay. So now if you would like to pop that membrane on that yolk and make scrambled eggs, we'll sure let you. That's what I'm fixing to do. You can watch the yolk come out, and you can actually feel the membrane if you see it. Yeah, there it was. And if you couldn't see both sides of your chalaza now, you probably can.
Nathan, did you have a question? Have you already popped his, Matilda? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yep.
It happens.
Perfectly fine. Okay. So everybody has their scrambled up egg now. And we all know the parts. So what I'm going to do is throw all this in the garbage. So why don't y'all all take just enough time to get this off your table and put it in the garbage. And then get your rag and wipe your table where you just, oops, see, look, y'all, I just made a big old mess. I know you can't see it, but I just spilled it all over my thing.
Make sure you wipe off with either a wet rag or a wipe.
And clean your spot up real fast because now, remember we talked about the bacteria. It could be in there and we don't want to leave it on the table or on the cabinet or whatever it is that we're working because we can spread it to the next thing. We don't want to do that. You want it on your table or on you?
Not yet. One thing of plain oil, no. We're gonna make all the time.
All right. Once you get your spot cleaned off and you're ready to move on to the next thing, No wonder that wouldn't come. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to move on to the next activity. This activity is going to be with our Play-Doh. So go ahead and get your Play-Doh out.
And Nathan, in answer to your question earlier, no, you don't have to have 5 colors. We can make work with whatever colors you have, but you do need a couple of different colors.
All right. Okay, so y'all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make an egg now from the inside out. Okay, so we just learned all of our parts. So let's do it from the inside out. Take your first color of Play-Doh, whatever color you want. It does not matter at all. This is going to be a very colorful egg by the time we're done with it. Okay? And who remembers what the little bitty speck on the very inside that goes on the yolk is? Who remembers what that's called?
Elizabeth seemed to raise her hand.
Elizabeth, you want to tell us?
Sawyer has his hand raised. Sawyer, unmute and tell us. Oh,
There it
The
is.
germinal disc.
The germinal disc. So y'all, the germinal disc was itty bitty. So let's make an itty bitty ball. And when I say itty bitty, I'm going to show you. Can you see that on my finger? It may be so small that you can't even see it. There it is. You see? Itty bitty. Okay? So I'm just making an itty bitty ball, and I'm actually going to put it on the table and just kind of smush it there and leave it. Okay? So like I put my germinal disc on my cabinet. Maybe I should do that one, Miss Rachel. I don't know. Okay, so I just put it on my cabinet. Now I'm done with that color. I'm not going to use that one anymore. Okay? So Wyatt, I think you had your hand up a while ago. What does the germinal disc sit on? What part of the egg does it sit on? Can you tell me? I think Wyatt knew. You wanted to just tell me.
The yolk.
The yolk. All right. So let's get us a little bitty. I'm going to get a little more. Since I'm not having to share it with anybody, I'm going to do a little more on that. So I'm making a ball about this size is what I've got. I don't know what size that is. Nerf ball size. I don't know what size to call that. But I'm just going to make it into a ball. Right? And now, who can tell me? I'm going to pretend that I'm putting that thing on the yolk that keeps it into a circle. Who can tell me what that thing is that keeps the yolk into a circle?
Kelsey.
Kelsey?
There and maybe. For some reason I can't. There you go.
The inner membrane.
The inner membrane. That's right. So I'm just going to pretend with my hands. Everybody pretend with me. We're making a ball and we're putting that inner membrane on there. Okay? So now I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to pick up my germinal disc off of the table. See? So now I have a yolk being held in place by the inner membrane, and then I have my germinal disc on there. Okay? Y'all want to show me y'all so far? They kind of look like a little eyeball looking thing, huh?
Joy's showing us hers.
Yeah.
Very good.
There's Kelsey's.
There you go,
You can
Sawyer.
see it,
and
Sawyer
Kira.
and Kira.
Weber's.
Weber's, yeah. Yep, Elizabeth, Dylan, Peyton. William and Hazel, there's good. Jaegers. I see one of theirs. All good, yeah.
Oh, good
Very
job, Larry.
pretty. Okay. So now,
Bless you, Nathan.
we're going to make another fun part. Okay? We're going to make the next part. Get another color. I don't care what color you get again. I'm going to get pink because I want pink today. And I say that, and I think my pink is kind of dried up. So I'm not gonna get pink because it's dried up. Y'all have some pink back here? Ooh, I can borrow some pink from back here. And it is not dried up. Okay. So get you some pink, and you don't need very much. Like I'm using, you don't need very much at all. Okay? Because what I want you to do with the pink is make it into a snake. Anybody know how to make a snake out of Play-Doh?
Oh, you got some hands raised.
Let's make a snake out of it. Okay? Let's see who can make the prettiest snake. I bet it's gonna be me.
Challenge accepted.
Miss Meredith, if you could hear, she said challenge accepted. Oh, here's my snake. There's my snake. It doesn't have to be perfect. None of this has to be perfect, you guys. So there's my snake. Okay. And now I'm going to take my snake.
Make sure you make it very thin, guys. You don't want it super fat. Skinny snakes. You
That's
want
right.
skinny snakes.
You know what I want to say? You know what I want to say, boys? Do you know what I want to say?
What?
What do I want to say, Levi?
Snake? Are you a sneaky
snake?
Sneaky snake.
There
Okay.
you go, Sawyer.
So now I'm going to take my snake. Oh, there we go. Good. I'm going to divide him into 4 parts. And y'all, I'm going to do that with my finger. Okay? Can you see my snake there? I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And now I have 4 parts.
You're just cutting.
I'm just cutting him into where he's 4 pieces. It took 3 cuts to do that. Okay? So when you get yours cut, let me know.
You can just give us a thumbs up. You don't have to hold up all 4 pieces.
Yep. Just give us a thumbs up. I'm seeing a lot of them here. They don't have to be perfect. They don't all have to be the same size. They don't. You'd be amazed at the trouble we have with kids making snakes and cutting them into 4 parts. Okay. Now I'm going to take 2. Right? You can see him here. I've tried to get him where you can see what I'm doing. And y'all, I'm going to lightly twist them together and make what looks kind of like a rope. Y'all see that? Doesn't have to be perfect at all. And then I'm going to lay him down, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2.
There you go, Sawyer. Looks good. Looks good, Joy.
Just kind of twisting them together, just like the last one. I think this one turned out better. I am short. Okay, now I'm going to lay him down. So now I have 2 that look kind of like ropes. Or I could say they look kind of like spaghetti, or that they look kind of like decorations. I don't know. They look like all
Elizabeth, do you
kinds
have
of
a
stuff.
question?
Good, Kira.
Elizabeth, did you have a question? Nope.
No.
Did you get your 2 ropes done?
Yeah.
Good deal.
Okay. So, who wants to take a guess as to what part of the egg this is? Somebody? There we go.
Like Juliet has her hand raised.
Okay, Juliet, what part is this?
Is this like that rope part? The chalaza?
Very good. So if you'll remember, the chalaza is attached to that membrane around the yolk. So remember, you put the membrane on with your hands. Remember? Okay. So now I'm just going to attach him to either side. Now he looks kind of like an eyeball with some hair, or I don't really know.
He looks like Mike Wazowski from Monsters
Oh, he kind of
Incorporated.
does. Okay, so I'm just going to attach my chalaza there. Doesn't have to be perfect at all. So now I'm just going to set him down. You can see what he looks like on my table there. Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you got that part completed.
Oh, Miss Christie, they did that part fast.
They did good. I think y'all been the best group we've ever done this one with. Okay, so now I'm going to get another color of Play-Doh. Okay, and I'm going to get me a pretty good size one.
And if you don't have another color, I would maybe use what you use for your Germinal Disc.
Yeah.
No one's gonna see it.
Okay, so I'm going to make a ball. Just getting a little more. This is what I got. If you already have a pretty big thing, you may need a more. This is actually going to, all of it's going to have to fit in this, because this is going to be the next part. If we're going from the out in, Jaegers, can y'all tell me what part you think this might be? Y'all know what the next part would be?
The white.
Yes, the white. Very good. Okay. So what we're going to do with this is make it into a ball, and then we're going to make it into a pancake. Anybody know how to make Play-Doh into a pancake? All right, we do.
Everyone smashed it.
Now let's make it into a pancake.
Easy. Just take it away.
All right, so now I've got a pancake on the table that's actually my white. Okay, so here's again what mine looks like. Okay. Everybody got a pancake? Okay. So now, I don't want this part to confuse you. Not that it will confuse you, but I don't want you to overthink this part. My white is going to surround all of this stuff. So you can see I'm putting mine right in the middle, and I'm going to remember that my white, that my chaleza is attached on one end of at the yolk, one end kind of at that other membrane, but there's the white all in between there. So I'm just kind of attaching them to the white, and we're just going to know that it's in there. Okay? And now I'm going to just cover it and make it into a ball. It's just all inside there, and I just know that all my parts are inside there.
So you're putting everything inside your pancake, folding it up so that it's nice and protected by the white, because your pancake was the white, and then you're going to roll it into a ball. Show it to us when you get it done.
All right, we've got some pretty ones so far.
Okay, I'll get you. There you go, Sawyer. Looks good. Looks good, Hazel.
Okay.
Kelsey, that looks good. Cody's still working on his, and it looks like Catherine's working on hers too. There you go, Catherine. And Cody, good job.
All right. Everybody's got their white now. Who remembers that next part? Now, remember it's right there in between the shell and the white, and our chaleza is attached to it on the other end. So William, what is it?
The outer membrane?
Good. So y'all, again, we're just going to pretend on the outer membrane with our hands. Okay? So rub it around with your hands and tell yourself, oh, this is my membrane. I'm making sure that it's got a membrane on there. Okay. There's two more parts, one more part, two more parts, however you want to look at it. We're only going to use one more color. So,
And if you don't have a different color, I would use the color that you did your chaleza with.
did I use green yet?
Your Germinal Disc.
So I haven't used purple. Not sure we have that.
That's why I dried out.
Can I have some purple? I'll share it with you, unless it's on. You may have to mix it. You may have to. No. All right, so I got me some purple. That's what color I feel like. Okay, so this one I'm getting a pretty big ball. This probably needs to be the biggest ball of any of it that you've got. Some of y'all are just too smart. You know exactly what we're doing. Okay, I'm gonna make it into a ball, and then I'm gonna make it into a pancake. All right. So now I've got another pancake. And now I'm going to take the rest of my egg. Remember, I've got a membrane surrounding my egg white. And then I have the chalaza attached to that membrane and to the membrane around the yolk. And then I have the yolk. And then I have the germinal disc. And they're all inside here. Okay? And we're going to surround them with the shell. Okay? The one thing though that we have to just kind of pretend is that we're leaving room for the air cell. So how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to kind of make me an air cell down in the bottom. Sorry. Okay, I'm just going to know, oh, there's an air cell right there. But now I'm just going to squish it all up in there. And guess what shape I'm going to make this guy into?
Egg shape.
An egg shape. So let's see if we can make him into an egg. Remember, the egg has kind of a one end is going to be a little bit bigger than the other.
I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
I have the bottom.
Okay. So
Is this good?
that looks like an egg to me. That looks like an egg to me. So here's my little egg. Pretty purple egg. Yep. So you're good. That looks like an egg.
Be sure you show the camera up close once you got. Ooh, that looks good, Dylan.
Okay. So
Let me
now,
see, Kelsey, that
yeah,
looks good.
very pretty.
Ooh, that's a good
Oh, a big
one,
pink
Joy.
one. Hey, Matilda.
There you go, Elizabeth. Weber. Peyton, that looks good. Oh, good job, Juliet. Jaegers, all three of you, very nice.
All right.
There you go, Cody.
Yeah. So everybody has an egg shape now?
Good job, Kira, that looks good.
So before you do this next step, I'm going to, oh, is that a black egg? Ooh, I want that chicken. What? You don't have to do this next step. I'm going to leave it up to you. But I like to do it just because I think it's fun. Now's when I'm going to take my little plastic knife and I'm going to go long ways on my egg and I'm just going to push through it. You can do it on the table, would probably be the safe way for you to do it. Kind of like this. Okay? And when I do that, it opens it up and I can still see, well, almost all of the parts of my egg. The thing that I couldn't see pretty much is the germinal disc, unless I just hit it perfectly in there. And I could even, if I wanted to, try to separate some of that at the bottom for an air cell. See, kind of. Oh, that one's pretty. That one's bright. I just think it's fun to do this. Right? So it's not mandatory. I just think it's fun. Okay? And then you can still see all your parts in there. So we have now learned all the parts of the egg, I hope. And we have learned, oh, look at Larry's. That one's pretty. Dylan, pretty. Y'all did good. How did y'all's look? Oh, very pretty. I like the white and red. Oh, very pretty. What? Oh, yeah, Elizabeth, pretty. Y'all did good with these. See, it's just fun to do that part of it, I think. So we all know the parts of the egg. We know that we should not eat raw eggs, and we know why we should not eat raw eggs, right? We understand that, oh, I like that, Joy. That's pretty. So we know why we shouldn't eat raw eggs. It's not just somebody telling us don't do it. Oh, yeah, Juliet, pretty.
I made a selfish egg.
We know that we should eat both the white and the yolk in the egg because the white is where the protein is and the yolk is where the vitamins and minerals are. We know that there's vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin K, manganese. Yeah, we said E. Okay? We know all of those things about our egg. We know that eggs can fall under a poultry project, obviously. So if you have a poultry project, learning the parts of the egg is a very important part of it. If you're in a food and nutrition project, you just learned some food and nutrition parts of about the egg. So this one can fall under, you know, kind of both of those. Do you have any particular questions that you have? I have stories that I can share, but I know that you may get bored of listening to my stories, so I'm going to tell you that I'm going to talk to you about some stories, but you can get off if you don't want to listen to them. I'm giving you warning that I don't have any other fun activities to do, but I have lots that I could share about eggs if you would like me to. But do y'all have any questions? Burning questions that you want to ask before we do this? Okay, so for those of you that might want to get off and not listen to my stories, Miss Rachel is going to put the survey over in the chat, and if you'll just click on that before you go, or I'll send the email out afterwards so that your mom can get it and do it. That would be very helpful to us. I would appreciate it.
I'm also putting my email so that I saw some moms taking some pictures. If you can, send us those pictures in an email. We'd love to have them.
Okay, so you are free to log off if you would like to, because the next stuff, like I say, isn't going to be anything fun, anything hands-on. It's just going to be me kind of sharing some stories of different things that I think are cool about eggs. I do think everything's kind of cool, don't I? It's true. But one of the things that a lot of kids always ask when we go to schools is, you know, how come the egg, the outside, the shells are all different colors? Okay? And the reason of that is very, very simple. It's only because a different breed of chicken laid that egg. So there are different breeds of chickens, just like there are different breeds of dogs or breeds of cats or breeds of cattle. There are different breeds of chicken. And the chickens lay different colors of eggs. Okay? The reason that the ones that we use and see at the grocery store the most being white, the reason that they're white is only because the certain kind of chicken that lays that egg is the one that's known to lay the most eggs out of all chickens. She consistently lays an egg every day, more than the other breeds of chickens. Okay? And she's a leghorn, Leghorn. Okay? That's the kind of chicken that lays those white eggs, a leghorn. Okay? A lot of times we'll say it kind of country, and we'll say she's a leghorn. Anybody ever heard somebody say that? A leghorn chicken or a leghorn chicken? That's what that is, okay? That's the only reason they're white instead of brown is because she's the best egg layer, that she's the best breed of egg layers, okay? So that's the only reason that we use white ones instead of brown ones. They're all the same nutritionally, okay? And we talked about calcium being on the outside of the shell earlier. So calcium has to be fed to the chickens in order for her to have that in her diet to make the shell for the egg. Okay, we have to feed it to her. So I always tell the story that stands out in my brain. When I was a little older than some of you, when I was in high school, we had ducks, right? The family had ducks that were down at the pond. And I was so excited when they started laying eggs, so super excited. And then I found out where their nest was. So I went and looked, and y'all, you could see through all of the eggs. Her shell, she had no shell, right? They were completely see-through. You could see the yolk. You could see everything in there. And, you know, I did some research to find out that she just didn't have enough calcium in her diet. She needed more food. She needed more different food. So I just went to the feed store and got her feed. Wasn't a big deal. She was just getting bread scraps and stuff is what she was getting from us. Otherwise, we were just letting her live at the pond and scratch. But we had to go get her feed. And the next time she started laying eggs, she had plenty in there. Okay? And a lot of times, if you have a grandma or a mama that y'all have chickens out back, she might tell you to go throw the shells back into the pen. Has anybody ever seen that? Go throw the shells back into the pen after you use them. That's why, is because she can take that calcium. They're going to eat that, right? And it's a way to get them more calcium back into their diet. Okay. Now, some people say that you shouldn't do that because it will make them want to eat other eggs. And if you're feeding them, it's probably safe. It's not going to happen, or you know, it won't happen. They're not all going to do it, but you're going to have mean chickens. Anybody got mean chickens? You got some that just, yeah, they're just mean. They're going to do that no matter what you do. But for the vast majority of them, that's why they're doing it, is to put that calcium back into their diet, to give them something to eat. So if you ever see that, they can be completely clear. And there's some really cool science experiments that you can do with eggs too. If you're interested in that, you can go Google it. Just go put, you know, egg science experiment. There's some really cool ones that you can do that are pretty simple to do. You can make I think you can put it in vinegar, I believe, and then you can make the shell disappear, and it'll be like a bouncy ball. It'll still be hard, like you can still touch it, but you can see through, and it'll make it like a bouncy ball. So I think it's vinegar. Will you look that up? It is vinegar. It is. Okay. You just put it in a glass of vinegar, put a whole one in there, and it'll make it bouncy, kind of like a bouncy ball. It'll dissolve the shell, kind of, but the membranes and stuff are all still there, holding stuff together. What's another fun story I can share? I mean, we could talk about the nutrition stuff. Y'all want a nutrition story? Kelsey, have you ever heard the squirrel story? No? Aubrey, did you hear the squirrel story? You've heard it before, haven't you? Yes, no, maybe. I thought you had. Yeah. The squirrel story is kind of interesting. He's more of a nutrition lesson than an egg lesson. But so I used to have a squirrel when a hurricane came through a long time ago. One fell out of the trees, got him, raised him. My whole goal with the squirrel was to let him go back out in the wild. That's what I wanted to do with him. But so I was feeding him. He was on the back porch. I was feeding him. And he loved pumpkin seeds. Y'all, and I mean loved them. You ever have an animal that likes to eat one thing over the other? This guy loved pumpkin seeds. But I would give him fresh fruits, fresh greens, almonds, pecans, inside the shell, outside of the shell, all these things with his pumpkin seeds. He would pick through and eat those pumpkin seeds first every day. And then he would have leftovers because he was full, right? And so the next day, I'd go out to feed him. Guess what I would give him more of? Pumpkin seeds, because that's what he didn't have on his thing. And so he was eating too many of one thing, okay? He wasn't eating a balanced diet. He was eating a whole lot of pumpkin seeds and a little bit of other things. So one day, I got a phone call at work, and it was my husband when he got home from work, and he says, Christy, something's wrong with your squirrel. You need to come check on him. He's not okay. So I go home, check on the squirrel. Y'all, squirrel was hurting. He couldn't walk. He could pull himself with his front legs. Oh, I dropped my egg. He could pull himself with his front legs like this, but he couldn't move from about his mid-back down, okay? And when he would try to move, he would make this horrible squeal, like high-pitched squeal. You could tell he was hurting, okay? So I have to go do some research, figure out what's going on. You can't just take a squirrel to the vet, right? That's just not what you do. So I started researching, and I figured out that I had given that squirrel metabolic bone disease, okay? And what metabolic bone disease is that you have to have calcium in your body, okay? We know that we have to have it to make our bones strong and to make our teeth strong, but you also have to have calcium to keep your blood flowing through your veins. Okay, it's kind of a freestanding calcium, but it has to be in there or your organs will start shutting down. So essentially, that's what was happening to my squirrel. Okay, he wasn't getting enough calcium, so his body started taking care of itself and started pulling calcium out of his bones to put into his bloodstream. Okay, and so I figured out real quick that I had to give him something. I needed to get some calcium in him really quick. So I did call a vet. They gave me a shot of calcium, like an injection of calcium. But before your body can use calcium, it has to have phosphorus. Okay, that's another mineral. So it has to have phosphorus in order for your body to use the calcium. Make sense? So they don't just give you straight calcium. They gave him, it's a calcium phosphorus mixture. So we put that into his system and he lived. We got him turned around. Okay. Squirrel was good. I had to change his diet. He couldn't have just pumpkin seeds anymore. I had to be a better owner and do a better job of making sure he got a balanced diet. Okay. And squirrel lived. He lived another 5 years, y'all. He was a good little squirrel. Never got to let him go, though, because he never regained feeling in his tail. He was able to walk. He was able to climb. He was able to run. He was able to do everything except, y'all imagine a squirrel sitting up eating. What's his tail look like when they do that? They're like all up and they've got that little turn to them, right? And they flop it back and forth, all that stuff. Yeah, squirrel couldn't do that. And they use their tail for balance, right? So squirrel was never able to be let go. And squirrel also didn't feel his tail, and he got a sore on it one time. And it's really hard to doctor on a tail of a squirrel. You can't put a Band-Aid on it. You can't wrap it with vet wrap. So he ended up losing about that much of his tail before it healed up good enough that he didn't, that it didn't have an open wound on it too. So that was later down the road. So squirrel just never was able to go. But I learned from that as a pet owner, as an owner of any animal, I have to make sure they're getting a balanced diet, and I have to feed them those things. So if I have a rabbit at home or a dog at home or a cat at home, the best thing for me to do is to buy a balanced diet. When I go buy that bag of dog food at the grocery store, it has been balanced for my dog. There is an animal nutritionist that has told me that I need to feed this dog 8 ounces twice a day. With this feed will be everything that he needs in order to live. Okay? Everything is balanced in there for him. It's in the right amounts for his entire body. Now, different people will tell you different things, okay? But animal nutrition tells you to feed that balanced diet, okay? But y'all, wouldn't it be really cool if I could go to the grocery store and buy a big old bag of people food, and they told me you need to eat 8 ounces of this people food, balanced just for your age and your size every day? Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, it probably wouldn't taste very good though, would it? Right? Wouldn't taste very good. And we can't do that. So as people, we have to eat all these different foods, okay? Something from all those different food groups that you hear people talk about. We need protein, we need fruits, we need vegetables, we need grains, we need dairy, we need fat. We're getting different vitamins and minerals and nutrients for our body from all of those different things. So y'all, my two are gone right now, but I have kids. I know y'all are picky with what you eat. You like chicken nuggets, or you like French fries, or you like whatever it is, okay? But you can't just eat one thing, or even 2 or 3 things. You really have to get something from all of those different groups to try and meet your nutritional requirements. Does that make sense? You need protein from some source. You know, you need it from an egg, you need it from meat, you need it from beans, you need it from lentils, something, okay? You need protein in your body. You need vitamins. You need all of them, vitamin A, B, C, D, K, E, all those things, okay? You need those minerals. Your body uses all of those different things in different ways to keep everything functioning, okay? So that's why we want you to eat a balanced diet. And I always remember it because of my poor little squirrel. I'll never forget the way she sounded that day when I went home. And I did that to her, y'all. I did that. But I also let her live because of it. It took just as long to get her out of that slump as it did for her to get into it. You know, it wasn't an overnight kind of a fix, but she did live for a long time after that. So eat a balanced diet, or do your best. See that plate in front of Kelsey? See all those colors? Eat different colors of food. I know that's Play-Doh, Kelsey, but eat different colors of food. They all have different vitamins and minerals and nutrients that your body needs. What other stories y'all want to know? Anything in particular? Y'all want to know more about the poultry industry? Anybody like the poultry industry? Yes, no, maybe? Are we good? It's 11:20. Y'all ready to call it quits? Yeah. Yeah, Kelsey, Catherine, y'all ready to call it quits? Joy, Juliet, y'all ready to call it quits? Yeah. We'll do that.
I don't know. You can.
Okay. Well, I'm glad y'all joined today and that you stayed on with us. Okay. Please go